like, yes, this is really working. Hey tribe, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andree. If you haven't been here before, hi, welcome. My video today is going to be an update on my hair transplant. Now, it's been 6 months. I want to say it's gone by really fast, but it hasn't. No, it really hasn't. To me, it feels like it's been a very steady, slow journey. And I'm still on this steady, slow journey. I have implemented faith and I have great patience with what is going on. I'm really super happy with the results, but I thought I'll take you from, month 3, 4, or is it? Yeah, 3, 4, 5, and now 6. So first things first, month 3 to 4, nothing really happened, if I'm honest. Like, nothing really happened. It's just like month 3, I was really excited because I started seeing some growth. My hairline was seemingly thriving. I still had some patches that I was a little bit worried about in terms of like how they would fill in. I didn't quite know how that was going to fit into everything, but I was just at that point at 3 months. I was like, listen, something's happening, which means more is to come. I think that's just the mentality I've had. And yeah, like month 3 was really just, it was like a little kick of faith because I just felt like finally something's happening. I can see something's happening from month 2, but I wasn't quite sure because, like I said before, I've always had hair in certain areas, but there were certain areas which had complete sparsity. Like they were really sparse, really thin, or just had bald patches that had been permanently there for a really, really long time. So I wasn't really sure what to make of the situation. And also I had to go back to pictures to actually see where those bald patches were. Another sort of worry of mine was around like the end of month 3 when I felt like the back of my head, my donor area, wasn't filling in quite how I had imagined it would. And I had been looking at a lot of videos, and also there are a lot of clients that I've met during this journey, and some of them had a transplant after me and have come in to visit, maybe to get a wig done or whatever, mostly to get a wig done or some sort of a hair service, and the back, their donor area had filled in already and was already full and growing back, and mine was still sparse. So that raised a lot of questions on my half, because I know that there was talk, especially like in my comments on TikTok, in my comments, no, actually just in my comments on TikTok, a few people mentioned that maybe a friend had got it done and had experienced scarring. And yeah, so that had me a little bit worried because one thing I know is that the reason why I chose Longevita is because they do not overpluck. They do not over, what am I going to call it? They don't overdo the insertion of hairs in the receiving area. That's one of the reasons why I went to them, because I know that they don't overdo it. They do it just right. And one of the reasons I also know that they are good is because when I wanted more, they told me no. So that was like one of the things that I really respected about the company. So at like three and a half to 4 months, it was like a little worry that had gone into my head, and it wasn't really about the company itself, but I know that with every surgery, anything that you're going to do, there may be like a negative effect. And I thought, is this going to be my negative effect? Is this going to be the effect that I get from this? And if it is, I have to, come to peace with it quickly, because otherwise I'm going to feel like this is a fail. I'm going to feel like I gained some hair at the front, lost some hair at the back. Now, the back of my hair, the density is quite full. So I was like, am I okay with that? Am I okay with that? So I had several talks with myself, and at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, girl, you're fine. If it ends up being a little thinner at the back and you end up getting a bit of scarring, then you knew what you were getting yourself into. This may have been something that you should have thought about, even though it was something you thought about. You were hopeful that it wouldn't happen to you, and now you're at this point where you think it's happening. Come to peace with it. So that's where I was at by the time, like, I was rolling on to month 4. So month 4, like I said, I've come into acceptance. I was cool with everything, and I started seeing a little bit more growth on top of the growth that I'd seen in month 3. And by this time, my hair was just growing. So the rest of my hair was growing really, really, like, well, at the normal pace. But as this was getting higher, you could obviously see the difference between the two, like, sort of hairs. And I made a decision probably around month 4 that I was gonna not shave it down completely, but cut it down to a level so that when the front started growing in a little bit more, or not even that, as the front was already started to grow in, I wanted everything to be the same length, because I knew that if the front was this, like, shortish level and then the rest of my hair was growing and thriving, at some point I was going to have to cut it. So I made a decision at month 4 to just cut it down, and I cut it down to maybe a level 3, and maybe 2 weeks later I cut it down completely. Was it 2 weeks later, or was it more towards month 5? I'm a bit hazy with the details, but within that period of time I did sort of like cut my hair down to the same level as the front, because by the end of month 4 I felt like I could see the hair growing in a lot more, and because it seemed fuller, I was going to cut it down, and I am still going to keep cutting it down until everything is sort of like the same length. But we'll see how this goes, because so far where I'm at now, I'm kind of happy with the length. So I don't know if I'm actually going to do that right now, because everything seems to have grown in, and anything else that hasn't grown in is not worth cutting all of my hair for, if that makes any sense. So month 4 again, quite a smooth sailing. 5 for me was probably the one of the most significant parts of my journey. I felt like I saw the most change during the jump from month 5, like the month 4.5 to month 5, 6. That's when I was like, yes, this is really working, because I am going to show you some snippets and videos while I'm talking. There was a particular patch that I had on this side, and I wasn't going to be convinced that everything was moving along until that part was filling in. And I could see like little bits of hair growing in, but it wasn't enough that it didn't look like a ball patch. And somewhere between month 5 going on to month 6, it disappeared and it filled in, and I was so happy about that. So that's when I kind of started feeling more at ease. I would say that I was relaxed. I was like 80% relaxed, 20% how is this going to work out during the first 4 months. And then once I kind of accepted that I may have like the back might not grow the way I want to, I was a lot more relaxed. I was accepting of everything. I just said, you did what you could. I try to what am I going to call it, I tell people all the time, you need to accept what your body is telling you rather than always trying to go against it. If you've done what you can and this is how your body's responded to it, you shouldn't try to always go above that, because sometimes you strain your body. Now this doesn't apply to everything, but when it comes to the hair transplant, I feel like I've done what I could. I have come to a point where I felt like, you know what, Marie, this journey of you and your hair, you kind of neglected it, you tried not to do certain things to it and it wasn't working. Now I've done the ultimate thing I can do to it, and yes, I could go for a round 2. It's not really what I want to do though. Like, this whole thing, and I say this with my experience, is a little bit traumatic. Like, you're causing trauma to your head, you're causing trauma to your hair follicles. Yes, it does reawaken your hair follicles and it grows back and stuff like that, but it's not a smooth sailing procedure, and it's also not a smooth sailing journey. It's a journey that requires a lot of patience. I know I've got a lot of patience, but even I had doubt, like little moments where I doubted the actual journey. So I can't even imagine what it would be like for somebody else who lacks patience and how they would feel. So yeah, like a lot goes into this journey. So I really don't want to talk about it lightly. I know that there's certain things that could go wrong. So for me, I was just, once I came to peace with everything, I was cool. So that's what month like five, like up to month four, sorry, I was like, and then after that, I was cool. I was cool. So now we are at month six. And no, I'm not at the end of month six. This is literally the beginning of month six. I'm maybe less than a week in. I month six for me was Monday. We're now Saturday, so I'm like 4 days post. And I've got all my videos ready. And I always take videos on the day that I turn like the month goes on, and I always take photos on the 5th. So I had the transplant done on the 5th, and I took pictures on the first month on the 5th of February. Then I did the same on the 5th of March, 5th of April, 5th of May, 5th of June, and now 5th of July. So, and I'm going to keep doing that up until 18 months because I want to show you what the full first year looks like, and then I will do a 6 month update after the first year to showcase what happens, and maybe one when I'm like 2 years on. Now, what I do want to say is once you hit month six, a lot of people, you do see a lot of growth, but there is so much more that you can get. And from speaking to people who are years ahead of me, a lot of people, though they saw a lot of growth up to month six is more about knowing that the journey is worth it. So month three for me was the beginning. Like you're like, yes, I did something here. But month six is like, look, this journey was worth it. And then I'm imagining that by the time I get to month nine, I'll be like, okay, you can wear your hair out now. You can you can do little things. And that's how I'm feeling. Like I'm a lot more confident to wear my hair out. I feel a lot more confident about the whole situation. Um, and to be honest, I don't really think I gave a heck. I haven't given a heck about what people think about me or what they think about my hairline or what they think about this. I don't give a heck. I'm really, really doing this for me. And I want to tell everyone, if anyone that's thinking about doing this, do it for yourself because nothing else matters. If my hairline could be here, I would do it, but I don't want it to be there. I chose to do it in this where I got it done. So let's talk about PRP. So I've done three. I've done three. I've done three PRP treatments since the last time I spoke. So since month three, I have done three PRP treatments. I've done them monthly, and I do feel like they are contributing to my hair growth. Remembering that I'm doing PRP treatments here, also in my crown area, which was a little thin, and my donor area. So as long as I can draw out enough blood, normally I take about three and a half. So we put a little bit at the front, a little bit like I want to concentrate also on the middle, and then we just put like the remainder at the back. And I'm seeing some growth. I'm seeing some growth. I don't think I think I'm seeing some growth, which is the equivalent of what I saw at 3 months in my crown. So my crown has always been quite like I said, I've got pattern balding in the middle of in my crown area. So I am seeing like little spurts of growth. I'm not expecting it to be like 100%, but I am expecting it to get a little fuller. So that's what I want. I know that this is something that I may have to keep up with, and I do intend on doing PRP treatments at least once or twice a year past all of this. So yeah, so the PRP treatments for me are really, really working. I am doing them at Late Night Beauty Salon in Peckham. Ruby is the lovely lady that's doing it for me. And yeah, like I don't have a code or anything. I'm paying to get it done. And so when I tell you to go there, it's because I think they're good. And that's it. So PRP for me is a little painful. It's like it's the stinging that's a little painful, like where they inject. And you can always get like a cold press, and you can get some numbing cream there. But for me, none of those things work. Like the head is such a weird like place on your body, and you just tend to, I don't know, have more pain there, I guess. Especially my crown area, it's so tender. So sometimes when she does go into those areas, I feel it, and I feel it. So you can probably see my videos. I'm like, because I feel it. But apart from that, I'm cool. Like it's really quick, and it's over before I can even complain. And the results are speaking for themselves. Like I said, I do think that it's contributing to the growth that's happening at the front, as well as the treatment itself. So I'm really happy with the PRP treatments. The second to last thing I want to talk about is my hairline and the density of it. So I got a few comments when I put up the video on TikTok about, the hairline being too thick, it's too round, it's too this. And one thing I want people to understand is it's probably gonna be like that. You may find someone that's able to trace the hairline to match exactly what it would be if you had worn it in a little bit, but remember that they're just putting hairs to fill in an area that's sparse. So yes, it is going to be almost too perfect, and by too perfect, it will result in it looking maybe too dense. I don't mind that. The reason why I don't mind that is because my original hairline was very close to what it looks like now. What I did, and what I probably recommend for you guys to do, is to do your when you're tracing your line, maybe do it slightly behind your baby hairs. So that's what I did. So my baby hairs come slightly forward, they kind of connect around here. And when the lady traced my hairline, I then went back and asked her to just trace it a little bit further back. So maybe like a millimeter behind my actual baby hairs, so that once my baby hairs grow in and everything grows in, it will look a little bit more natural, but obviously much fuller than it was before. So where my hairline is exactly where it was when I was a younger girl. It's just fuller. And I think they've also filled in places, well, I know they filled in places that were also baby hairs. And if I had gone behind that, I feel like it would have been looking full and then really, really light in some areas, which would have resulted in it looking like I had thinning. So it's a hard one, because unless you tell them to only do, I don't know, 10% here and blah blah blah, you have to be really, really specific. And if I had to go back, I probably would do the same thing. I do not care about like that particular detail, because like I said, I was quite aware that it was going to look quite dense and give, Planet of the Apes slash Adam's Family, but I wanted to reduce it by just putting it slightly behind my hairline. So that's what I did. If it's something that you feel that you should do, that's probably what I recommend. But if you want the hair, you're gonna get the hair, aren't you? Last but not least, what am I taking to help along my growth? Apart from PRP treatments and apart from having done my full-blown hair transplant, I'm not really doing anything. I'm very lax about it. The reason why I'm relaxed about it is because I don't want to pick up anything that I'm not going to continue doing. So I'm taking my normal supplements, which are zinc, which is good for hair, skin and nails. And I'm taking, gosh, it's completely gone out of my mind now. Magnesium. I'm taking probiotics, and I'm taking, what else am I taking? There's one more, collagen. So those are the things, like those are a few of the, well, most of the vitamins that I take daily. And I've been taking them, so I'm going to continue doing what I normally do. And if I do pick up something else that's hair sort of related, I would add it in and keep it as that. But as it stands, PRP treatments is probably like the major thing that I'm doing to help my hair along. And like I said, I intend to continue doing that. It's a lot more pricier, so maybe I'll do it 3 times a year. Maybe I'll do it twice a year. I'll have to consult and see what is advised, but it is something that I'm definitely going to keep on doing. As for my normal tablets, I'm definitely going to keep taking them, and then I will see if I need to take anything topical. But I'm trying not to do too much, because what I know to be true is that if I do too much, I'm probably not going to keep it up. And the whole aim of this is to keep up my normal, the normal things that I want to do. And this is not because I'm scared that my hair's going to fall back out or anything like that. This is a permanent change in my hair. If you speak to any trichologist, dermatologist, a hair transplant is a permanent way of changing or fixing traction alopecia, or alopecia that can be fixed by a hair transplant. So it's not something that should revert unless you have a condition or an underlying condition that you don't know about. So I have known for hair transplants to fail, but again, those have been because some people have thyroids, or they have lupus, or they have something that's actually, like, they have CACC, I think it's called, where literally your follicles attack themselves and you lose hair in a certain area over and over again. And those people can probably not do a hair transplant, because though it will grow back, it will always fall back out. So it just depends on what your situation is. But for me, after being tested, I don't have any underlying issues that I know about. So this is a permanent solution. Plus, I haven't done it in my crown area. I've just done it in the places that I have traction alopecia, which I know were caused by things that were done when I was younger, and I couldn't control whilst because the damage had already been done. And as I gotten older, it just wasn't fixing itself. And also, those kids changed everything, and they just made the situation worse for me. But for some people, the hair grows back. For me, I just felt a dramatic change, and my hair was so thin after, I just couldn't handle it anymore. So that's where I'm at. So I'm really happy where I'm at the moment. I can't wait to come to you guys in 3 months' time and be like, guess where I'm at? Guess where my hairline is now? So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer. If you do want to know more about this journey, the best place to go would be TikTok. I do monthly updates on there. They're quick ones, and then I do even like quick ones in the middle of that. I answer questions directly. So like TikTok, if you want to be a lot more like involved with this journey, my personal TikTok is definitely the place to be. And for those of you missing me on YouTube, I will be back. I have decided to come back and just do a lot more videos, but there'll be more of a variety of content other than just hair. And so I will see you very soon, and thank you for watching. Peace.